So before you start, you're going to need the right parts. You're not going to know what the right parts are. This is the new cartridge. This is the handle, and this is the flange and a new sleeve that comes with the flange. You're not going to know what these are until you take the old one out. Now, when I took the old one out, number one, you start with the knob. So once you take the little plastic cover off, you're going to get to the screw. In my case, the screw was so tight and rusted in there that I had to use a Dremel tool to make that channel bigger. And then I used my screwdriver to remove it, and it was still stuck, and it eventually broke. So then I was able to remove the knob, or at least the screw. The next step was this thing here was stuck on these threads here, and this thing, you see it fits right in. So this I couldn't easily remove because of all the deposits, and I realized that there are screws in there, maybe hex, I'm not sure, but I couldn't remove them very easily. So I basically had to use my channel lock pliers. You see it's even cracked there now, but I had to force it to come off this vertical threads. Once I did that, then this trim, the escutcheon, was installed this way, and I could not remove it because as I tried to unscrew, the sleeve would also turn. So I couldn't remove this cover, this trim piece. So what I ended up doing, I ended up cutting it, and then I got to this point. Then when I get to this point, don't try and don't bother with this hex nut here. What you want is those long tubular wrenches, and you want to get to this nut. This is actually inside the wall. Actually, the wall comes about here. So you don't have access to this unless you use those long wrenches. Once you do that, then this comes out. And the water has to be off, of course, before you remove this. Then water is going to come out of the wall, so that's where you put in maybe something like a piece of a solo cup, a piece of plastic to channel the water away and not have it go in the wall. Once you have this out, then you're going to go to the store and you're going to look for a replacement part. If you are lucky, you might be able to find a new rubber washer and just replace that. In my case, I just wanted to replace the whole thing and get a new trim and a new knob. But I had to remove this first before I could do any of this, because I needed to match at least the bottom part of the old cartridge to the new one. This part looks different in the new cartridge, in this one, but the bottom part looks the same. So yeah, do the hot one first, because you can turn off the hot water only, not the cold water. So worst case scenario, while you're gone to the store looking for parts, your house is not going to be left without water and have the women in the house yell at you and asking when you're going to turn the water back on. So I just did the hot water first. until I found the right parts. Once I got the right parts and I fixed the hot side, then I can turn the cold water off. Obviously the hot water goes off as well, and I can do the cold side. I'm not sure what the purpose of this little spacer is. It's not a rubber washer. It seems to be hard plastic. So I'm not sure what this is. And on the new one that I put in, I did use Teflon tape. I'm not sure if it does anything, but I did put it on anyway. This part doesn't do anything for you. I don't know what that does. It's there. This is supposed to screw in. It does, at least on the new one. Doesn't seem to do anything on the old one. So that's kind of the process that we're going to do. So in my case, this is how I turn the water off. So I put this here, and now I turn. Okay, so now the water is off. So now they can lock it if you don't pay your bill. So since this is on the street side, I'll cover it back up. So this is my water heater, and how I turned off the hot water. I just moved up that lever right there. I just moved up the lever. And because I just installed this pump, I set that to off. This button there, I set it to off, because you don't want the pump to run if there's no water going. So that's how you turn off the hot water only. Okay, so the water is off to the whole house. I'm just gonna relieve the pressure. Yeah, I don't need it to be off all the way, but I just want to release some of the pressure in the pipe. Okay, so now we're ready to remove the escutcheon. Let's see if it comes off, or this one's not going to come off easily either. So you see the white sleeve. It's not going to come off. So let me get the channel lock pliers and try with those. I don't care to save the escutcheon. Well, you see the white sleeve is spinning. So this is not going to work either. I have to put something there to hold the white sleeve immovable, because this just won't unscrew. So if you look at the one that I did do already, all it is nothing more than that, but all it is this part like that. And this metal thread gets so attached to the plastic that you cannot remove it. Okay, so what I'm doing, I made a little bit of progress. I'm putting this pliers here and holding on to the plastic with one hand, and with the other hand I'm using the channel locks to try to unscrew. See, it's still spinning. So what I plan to do this, once I make a little more progress, is to see if I can hold it from the back. See, you can see the sleeve there. So I got the needle nose pliers from my toolkit, but I realized that I have this too. So I clamped it on the sleeve, on the white sleeve. You see, this is the pliers, and that's the white sleeve. You don't want to clamp it any further in, because that's where that nut that you have to unscrew is. So just that white sleeve. So now I'm going to try holding on to the pliers and use the channel lock pliers to remove the escutcheon. I want to show you the progress that I'm making. There it is, clamped onto the white sleeve. And I'm just using the channel lock pliers to unscrew while holding on with my right hand onto the pliers. Well, I finally removed the escutcheon, but at some point this was pushed off. I guess these are not coarse enough, so I ended up using this one. Hold with the right hand and then use the big pliers with the left hand and unscrew this. Okay, now that I got that off, now I have to figure out which one of those is the right wrench and unscrew this cartridge using the one in the back, not this one in the front. Why do I say that? Because if you look at the old one, you want to unscrew from here, not from here. I have no idea what that does, but this is where you need to unscrew this whole thing from. And then have the little plastic partial cup ready so that if your valve does not turn the water off completely, you can stick this in there and not have water fall behind the wall. So I think in my case, it's one of these. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. So now I'm going to find the right adjustable wrench. Go the other way. And let's see if it comes out easily or not. Yep. Kind of. I think I'm gonna continue by hand. Whoa. So let me get oops. Well, thankfully that was not a lot of water. Okay, all good. Let's get the new one ready. I'm going to take the new one and I'm going to put some tape here. I'm going to put some Teflon tape, and that's pretty much all I need to do. I'm not touching this one. Just gonna put some Teflon tape here. So one thing to be aware when you put the tape is you want it to go, in this case, clockwise, because as I screw it inside the wall like this, you don't want the tape to unravel. You want the tape to tighten as you screw the cartridge. So it's gonna go this way. So I decided to put some of this paste as well. I only put a little bit of paste, just to be on the safe side, you know. So I'm gonna remove the plastic and see how I can screw this in. Gonna take the, what did I do with it? This one. I need the wrench to tighten this. And I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to tighten it back. It needs to be tight, but not so tight that you break the pipe. So I think right now we're ready to turn the water back on. However, and check for leaks. Now that's what you should do. What I'm going to do, I'm pretty confident there's going to be no leak. So this little blade that I have, I'm going to use to clean this off and get ready to put the sleeve and the scotch on. However, one more thing to remember. Make sure that this is off before you turn the water on. Don't leave it on, and then the shower is gonna make a mess everywhere. So make sure you have this off before you turn the water on. Okay, so I put some of that paste here, only on the top. This is just a chip in the tile. It's gonna get covered with the scotch on, and it'll be at the bottom so you won't see it. But I only put the tape on the top side, you see, nothing on the bottom. And the reason is that once the scotch on gets screwed in, when the scotch on gets screwed in, if there's any water that gets behind, I want it to be able to come out through the bottom and not go behind the wall. Now, looking at the scotch on, I don't know if you can see, there's a thread right there. And that thread is going to match with the sleeve. However, I had a lot of trouble removing the old one. So what I'm going to do is put some tape, some Teflon tape on this one as well. Now, part of it is going to screw in here. So this is going to go like this, and it's going to screw in there. Do I have to put Teflon here? No. Will I? Yes. I'm going to put some tape here, and then I'm going to put some tape here. And the reason why I do it is because I don't want to have any trouble in the future where I won't be able to remove it should I want to. Because at some point, maybe, I don't know, 10 years maybe sooner, this rubber gasket here is going to have to be replaced. So this screw is going to come out, and this rubber gasket is going to have to be replaced. So once I'm done with this project, I'm gonna go to the store and buy some replacement gaskets. So right now I'm gonna put tape here and I'm gonna put tape here. Now, remember what I told you earlier. The way you look at it, it has to go so that when you screw it in, the tape tightens. So therefore, in this case, it has to go clockwise here and it has to go clockwise on this end. So it's going to be a little backwards. You can't just put on one end all the way to the other side. That's just a little extra that I'm doing. You don't have to do it, but like I said, in my case, because of all the scotch-on wouldn't easily come out, I'm going to do this. So the other thing I did, not just the tape, but I put this like that and I kind of estimated how far the thread is gonna go. So I figured like somewhere there, about 2/3 from the wall, 1/3 from this end. And I put some silicone paste. This one right there, where is the cover? This one is the cover, silicone grease OD. And just because I've been burned. So now I'm ready to put the scotch-on back on. Okay, so now I'm just gonna clean off the extra paste, take a paper towel and just wipe it clean. And now I'm ready to put the knob on. Okay, so let's test this. This is the hot water. Let's turn it off. Good. Now the cold water. Good. They work a lot easier to turn on and off, and I'm very happy. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's how you replace the valves in a 50-year-old shower when you have no idea what you're doing. Remember, start with the hot one and just turn the hot water off. And once you have that figured out, then turn the water off to the whole house. Otherwise, the women in your house are going to be yelling at you. So you don't want that. Hope you enjoyed it.